All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're continuing on doing a little bit of PEMDAS, and we are going to look at some word problems and see if we can, from a word problem, create an expression that we can use our order of operations skills on. So here's my first example. Jerry volunteers at the hospital during the week. He volunteers 3 hours on Monday and Thursday, 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and 2 hours on Tuesday. How many hours does Jerry volunteer at the hospital during the week? Now, you're going to notice as we go through these examples that they're going to pretty much involve two operations, adding and multiplying. Now, not every word problem will involve those two, but this is a pretty common kind of word problem, and that's going to be pretty come up quite a bit. So we're going to look at how to handle those types of problems. So I got a little chart here we're going to use to organize our information a little bit. Got all my days of the week. And I'm just going to write how many hours he's volunteering each day. So he does 3 hours on Monday and Thursday. So I'm going to write a 3 for Monday, 3 for Thursday. Okay. He volunteers 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so 4 for Saturday, 4 for Sunday, and 2 hours on Tuesday. Now, if I want to know the total amount that he volunteers, one thing I could just do is I could just add up these numbers. There's only 5 of them. They're pretty small. It's not too bad. But we're going to try to think about this in a different way so that it still is pretty easy, even when we have bigger numbers and more of them. Okay. So what I want you to think of is I want you to think back at when you learned multiplication. When you first learned multiplication, you probably learned something like if you had 5 times 2, that means, well, what would you have if you added up 2 5s, right? You have 5 2 times, right? So that's 5 times 2. We're going to use kind of a similar idea. If we look at the information we're given a number of hours and how many times it happens. So we're told that he volunteers for 3 hours on Monday and Thursday. So that means we have 2 3s that we're adding together, right? So 3 is the number of hours that happens. It happens 2 times, so we can do 3 times 2. Okay, now adding on to that, it says he works 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday. So 4 hours happens 2 times also. You can see in our chart we have 4 showing up twice. Okay, so the way I can figure out how many hours that is just by doing 4 times 2. Okay, and then the last part is 2 hours on Tuesday. 2 hours only happens once. So I can add the 2. I could multiply it by 1, but we know from our work with properties that multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, so it's still just 2. Okay, so we end up with this expression, which will tell us the total number of hours that he volunteers. Okay, 3 times 2 plus 4 times 2 plus 2. Okay, we're going to kind of follow this formula for the other ones that we do also. So if we remember back to our PEMDAS, I have multiplication and addition. What do we have to do first? Well, multiplication comes first. So if we go left to right and do all my multiplication, I get 3 times 2 is 6. I'll write it up here. 4 times 2 is 8. And that's all my multiplication. Now I just have to add. Again, I remember for my properties, if it's just addition, order doesn't matter. If I had some subtraction in here too, it would matter. But if it's just adding, I can add in any order I want. So I'm going to add those 8 and 2 together first because those make a nice even 10. So we got 10 plus 6 is 16. Okay, so total during the week, he volunteers for 16 hours. And that's what we get if we just added them together. Okay. Well, you might be wondering, if we can just add them together, why do this? Well, let's say we want to figure out how many times he volunteered during the whole year. Well, we don't want to be adding up that many numbers. That would take a lot of time to do. So, but if we use multiplication in this format, we can do it pretty easily. All right, let's look at another example. This is for the football fans out there. The CGMS football team scored 3 field goals worth 3 points each, and 2 touchdowns with extra points worth 7 points each. We're going to write an expression to find the team score, then we're going to evaluate it. Okay. So again, I'm trying to find the total points. So I look for each amount of points that were scored and how many times it happened. So I see that field goals are worth 3 points. And we scored 3 of them. So 3 points, there are 3 points each. That means we need to multiply the 3 and the 3. Okay, so that's how our expression is going to start, 3 times 3. That'll tell me the points scored off field goals. Okay. All right, looking forward, it's not just field goals. We also had touchdowns. Touchdowns are worth 7 points if you get the extra point with them. Okay, so we're scoring 7 points throughout the game, and I got to figure out how many times that happened. It looks like it happened twice. Okay, so I scored 7 points 2 times. 7 2 times is 7 times 2, and that would add on to the points I got from field goals. Okay, so there's no other place that I scored points, so this is the expression that will tell me my points. If I'm using my order of operations, again, I have to multiply first, and then I can add. So 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 7 is 14, and I'm going to be adding 9 and 14. When I do that, I get 23 points. Okay. All right. Let's look at this one. So we got the perimeter of a hexagon. Some of you may remember from earlier in math. Oh, sorry. That you find perimeter by adding up all the sides. So we have 6 sides. I'm going to take the lengths of all the sides, add them together. So it says 4 of the sides are 8 inches long. I'm looking at my picture. I'm going to guess that's probably these ones. 8, 8, 8, and 8. Okay. And 2 of the sides are 10. Okay. So I can fill in those. I'm guessing those are the longer sides. Do 10 and 10. Now again, I could just add all these up straightforward, but let's see if I can do it with my multiplication. If I'm looking at the numbers that show up, 8 shows up, and it shows up 4 times. Okay, so I'm going to be adding 8 4 times. Okay, the other thing I'm adding is 10, which shows up twice. So 10 2 times. That's multiplying. Okay, when I add those together, again, I have to multiply first. Then I can add them together. 8 times 4 is 32. 10 times 2 is 20. If I add 32 and 20 together, I get 52 inches. All right, so 8 times 4. They wrote it in a different order than I did, but remember, order doesn't matter with multiplication. 4 times 8 is the same as 8 times 4. All right, let's look at another one. Tyrone bought 5 postcards at 55 cents each, so here we got some decimals, and a set of note cards for $1.20. Write an expression to find the total amount Tyrone spent on cards, then evaluate. Okay, and again, evaluate just means to use your order of operations to find out what it equals. Right? It's basically solving it. All right, so we're trying to figure out how much he spent. Well, he spent 2 different amounts. He spent 55 cents on postcards, and he spent $1.20 on note cards. Okay, so we're going to add those together. So if I do the 0.55, that's how much note cards cost, and then we're going to multiply that by how many he bought, which is 5. Right? So if I were adding these up, I'd be adding 5 of these 55 cents together, which I can do by multiplying 55 cents by 5. Okay, then I bought a set of note cards for $1.20, and it looks like I just bought 1 set. It says a set of note cards. Okay, so nothing to multiply that by. Okay, so again, I have to multiply first. I'm going to bring this over here so I can practice my decimal multiplication. 0.55 times 5. Don't know why I drew a line there. Let's get rid of that line. 0.55 times 5. Just going to multiply, pretending the decimal point isn't there. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 is 27. Okay, so I look at where I put the decimal point. I have 1, 2 numbers after the decimal point. None here. This is a whole number 5. So I'm going to put the decimal point right there. So there's 2 numbers after it. So this multiplication gives me 2.75. Then I have to add 1.20. Okay. So we got 2.75 plus 1.20, making sure to line up those decimal points. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 2 is 9. Bring down the decimal point. 2 plus 1 is 3. So we spent a total of $3.95. Okay, and there's our answer. All right, let's do one more. All right, Mr. Lushuk took his family out to eat. They ordered 3 meals costing $11.99 each, 2 sodas at $2.25 each, and 1 glass of tea for $2.75. Write an expression on the total amount the Lushuk spent on dinner before tips and taxes. Okay, so if I look at this problem again, I have 3 different amounts he's spending. He's spending $11.99 on meals, and he's buying 3 of those. Right, so he's paying this 3 times. So he's paying $11.99 times 3. Okay, but he's also going to spend some money on sodas. Sodas are $2.25, and he buys 2 of those. So I multiply that by 2. Okay, and then just 1 glass of tea for $2.75. So he's also going to spend that $2.75, but he's only getting 1 of those. So we don't need to multiply that by anything. All right, so I'm going to do each one of my multiplication problems first before addition. So if I bring those down here, I'll do the $11.99 times 3 first. Okay, so ignoring the decimal point, 9 times 3 is 27. Carry the 2. 27 plus 2 is 29. Carry the 2. 3 times 1 plus 2 is 5. And 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, for the decimal point, I have 2 digits after the decimal point total. 2 up here, none here. So I put the decimal point here, so there's 2 digits after. So $35.97 is what he spent on dinners. If I look at the sodas, that's $2.25 times 2. Some of you might be able to do this in your head. That's great. If not, we can do it right here. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, again, 2 digits at decimal place, so it goes right there. Okay, no multiplication to do here, so now I just have to add from left to right. All right, so I got $35.97 plus $4.50. Add that first. Again, I could, because it's just addition, I could add in any order I want. So if you want to do it a different way, you certainly can. Decimals are lined up. It's important for, again, addition, subtraction, not multiplication. Don't need it for multiplication, but we are adding here. Okay, 7 plus 0 is 7. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry the 1. Decimal just comes straight down with addition. 1 plus 5 plus 4 is 10. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. So I got $40.47. Okay, so that's the first 2 numbers added. Now we just got to add that t, so that's another $2.75. If I add those together, 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 plus 7 is 11. Plus 1 is 2. Carry the 1. Decimal comes down. 1 plus 0 plus 2 is 3. And then just a 4. Okay, this is money, so I'm going to put a money sign out there. It's $43.22. Okay, so if I reveal it, that's what my answer should be. Look at that, $43.22. All right, so I will let you try out a couple of those. Good luck.